Okay, so I'm going to tell you why wanting to make $10,000 a month is a very stupid goal. Now, the reason for this is probably not what you think, so make sure you watch this video all the way through. But a lot of people, when they start a business or an agency or any kind of, vehicle that's going to help them to make more money, $10,000 a month seems to be the goal that a lot of people set. And this really can be any sort of monetary goal. It doesn't necessarily need to be 10, it could be 20, 50, whatever it is, right? But the idea that focusing on the output of that goal is really, really silly. And I'll explain why. And so if you are ever looking to do something or achieve something, you have things that you can control and things that you can't control, right? If you're going to do outreach, you can't control who is actually going to respond to you. And, if someone is actually going to be able to see that email or they'll just delete that email, you can't control that. But what you can control is how many emails you send or if your copy is actually good enough. And so when you think about creating a goal or something in mind that you want to hit, you should never focus on the actual result. I want to make $10,000 a month. I want to, live in Dubai or whatever it might be, right? But you should focus on the things that people who have achieved that have done to get there. So if someone who makes $10,000 a month sends 100 outreaches a day or sends 100 cold emails per day, then that should be your goal. Your goal should always be the input. And I've been doing a little bit of research, a little bit of reading into something called chaos theory. And chaos theory is the idea that there's a lot of stuff that's outside of your control. There's very, very famous stories about, the world almost ending because of some nuclear disaster. And if it wasn't for someone actually, pressing the wrong button or doing something which they shouldn't have done, then the world would have ended, right? And this is basically the premise of chaos theory, is that things are just in chaos. There's no sort of major organization, and a lot of things happen a little bit down to chance and a little bit down to luck. And that's kind of given, right? You always need a little bit of luck to go and achieve your goals. But when it comes to the things which you can control, like the amount of volume that you send, like if you ask all the right questions on your sales call, like if you review your sales calls to make sure you're actually getting better every single week, those are things you can control. And then you can start to change that chaos and put that chaos into your control a little bit more than if you're just focusing on, I want to make $10,000 a month, right? And if you set out, let's say, I have multiple spreadsheets like this where I have a goal of an input that I have to do, right? Whether it's, ask all the right questions on the sales call, make sure I wake up at a certain time, all this kind of stuff. And I tick them through every single day, and they're all input goals. And if I do every single one of these, then the ultimate goal, which I want, is going to be achieved. And the ultimate goal for my business right now is to make $100,000 in a month. And this will be achieved by simply just doing these inputs every single day, by putting the work in, by signing the clients, by improving our service. And these are all focused on inputs. Whereas if I just make a goal right now of $10,000, $100,000 a month, whatever it may be, and this is what I focus on how to, make the most money or something like that, it won't work, because all we need to do is just get the inputs right. And this is something which I'm doing across the board with my business. So any of my team members that are watching this will know this, but all of the appointment setters that we have, the salespeople that we have, even virtual assistants, we don't actually care about the end result that they achieve, because, well, of course, it's still important, but I'm not judging them based on that end result. I'm judging them based on the inputs that they give and the effort that they give, because I know that if they do that, and if they do that every single day, then eventually the results that we want and that I could judge them on, that will be achieved. And so we have appointment setters right now, and their goal is to reach a certain number of outreach per day, make sure that obviously they're applying to all of their follow-ups and stuff like that. And if they do that, because we have the right processes in place and because we have the right systems, in place with our appointment setting team, then I know that they're going to book a lot of appointments, and I know they're going to hit some kind of arbitrary goal of 50 appointments a month or whatever it is. But if I just go out and say, okay guys, your goal right now is 50 appointments per month, then firstly that creates an awful lot of ambiguity, and secondly, that has not been broken down into enough steps for people to really understand what they have to do. And it just doesn't really make sense, because a lot of that is out of their control, But if I know that they do 50 outreaches a day, I know that if they follow up on everyone at the right times, I know if they use the proper objection handling techniques and frameworks, then it doesn't really matter, because it might be 45, it might be 55, it might be 100 appointments, but that's all we control. And that's what we should basically be aiming for. And a lot of people will already know this and would have heard of this, but in order to be, to create or to make $10,000 a month, you need to basically become the person that can do that, right? And the person that can do that is the person that goes out and actually completes all of these inputs. The person who makes $100,000 a month, which, the person that I want to be, is the person that completes their to-do list every single day. It's the person who manages a team incredibly effectively. It's a person who leverages an awful lot of their time and their energy. And these are inputs which I should be aiming to do, right? And so, of course, you should try to be that kind of person. But the way that you become that person is by simply just making sure that you're doing the right actions, the similar actions that this person is doing, And oftentimes, I think people can look at someone who's making an awful lot of money, and they are in a very senior position, I guess, inside of the business world. So their day-to-day activities revolves in, managing groups of people, or maybe sort of capital allocation, different things like that. But if you're looking to do, just $10,000 a month, and you're going from $0 to $10,000 a month, look at the people who are making $10,000 a month, not people who are making $1 million a month, because their inputs and their actions are completely different, and the skills that we do now between like 10 and 20K per month is definitely not going to be the same is what we're doing when we're at 50K a month, when we're at 100K a month, And so you should look for people who are actually making that right amount of money that you're actually looking for. And if you want an action step for this video, it's going to be to make sure that you actually list out the tasks that you have, right? And this is not going to be building a website. It's not going to be, changing your logo or anything like that. It's going to be booking appointments, closing those deals, and actually delivering on the service, right? And if you want to break that down, it's going to be, making sure you do enough outreach, making sure that you manage the ads that you're running, making sure that you are posting content. And then it's also going to be asking the right sales questions, not being scared to ask certain questions where, it might be a bit uncomfortable or anything like that. And then just delivering on your service like your life depends on it, researching like hell. And so you can create different tasks, right? I'm going to spend 1 hour a day researching on my service, researching on Facebook ads or whatever it may be. And you just write that down for every single day. Maybe give yourself some days off if you really want to, and just make sure you do it. And if you do this for the next 90 days, it is literally unreasonable that you won't be at $10,000 a month. And because you're not even thinking about that, because you're thinking about the goal that you have, which is to research your service and to make sure that you're asking the right sales questions, then this is just a complete byproduct of this. And so, yeah, if you want some action steps, that's what I recommend. It's very simple to do in a spreadsheet. Just literally make some check boxes and stuff like that and just put the dates in. We have a bunch of stuff like that I track every single day, just making sure that we're doing the right things in all my daily workflows. But yeah, if you do this, then you will get to that point, and there's no need to want to make $10,000 a month. You should just need to want to do those actions. Cheers.